I went up on plates, I stack every day. I'm mowing the lawn, cut out the snake. Don't follow the law, step out every day. She feed me the lies, I feed her the grape. Ay. My baby, she bought it, say yeah.
Yo, welcome back to King Sportscast for a special Chargers Patriots edition. King Sportscast versus Highly Offensive Podcast. How you doing, Wayne? Welcome back.
It is game time. We are creeping up on the playoff matchup that both of us kind of predict that really could be the AFC Conference Championship. This could be who will be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl against the Chargers versus Patriots, and it is in New England. So little nervous about the game.
Thank God. We ain't played too well on the road this year, brother. Actually, we were 8-0 at home. Little undefeated home streak this year, but we've been equally as bad on the road.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers, their home field advantage is so shitty that they actually have a better record on the road than at home because they got to play at that joke of a stadium.
They're equally as good on the road. I believe they're 7-1 this year.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, you don't really see that a lot, but I believe that just comes with the entire mentality of the team. They're kind of like, the underdog in LA. They're not the favorite team in LA right now. Rivers has always been talked down, about his performances and all that good stuff. And I'm feeling really good about this year. I have, since the start of the year when they finally started winning a couple games and finally it looks like we finally got a kicker that can actually make a couple kicks here and there. That took a long time to get over the course of the last few years, man. We lost so many one possession games just because of shitty kicking.
Yeah, you gotta hate when it comes down to the kicker, and usually you're probably not good enough if you're trying to rely on the kicker.
A la Cody Parkey, right?
A la Cody Parkey, poor guy. Have we forgave him, or do we still hate him? I don't understand. Just let me know, Sports World. I've
seen so many videos of Bears fans ripping down doors, breaking TVs, just acting like complete children. And then the degenerate gamblers, of course. I'm with you all, but I didn't vote on that game or play on that game. But they were also pissed off about the miss. But it is what it is. We got
honestly, gamblers to me, I think, are so funny when they get mad at like an extra shot goes in that covers or doesn't cover the spread. I just don't even feel bad. I just don't. I'm like, yo, then don't gamble. Like it's I think I was with my dad's friends and they were cheering for Indiana to just, to keep it closer, not to win. They're just like, just make sure you lose by 7 or less. Yeah. I'm like, it's a weird, I don't know, it's a weird, I never saw it from that aspect. I never really got super into it, but I understand the gists of it, but never motivated me to see a team win by 7 compared to like 14 or whatever the difference was. So it was just like whoever's going to win the game.
Nothing like some motivation when you put your mortgage up for the bet.
Yeah, that's why a lot of them love Brady in like a 2-point game. Like if the Patriots are favored by like 2 or more, they'll take that all day because they know Brady. Even if they're tied, they're going to go down the field and get you 3 points.
Speaking of that, what's the line? I know you said you were going to try and look that up. I can pull it up here too if you don't have it real quick. Yeah, New England by 4. New England -4 right now is the line, and that's probably going to change a little bit.
It's a little Brady respect, I think.
Yeah, I mean it comes with the home field advantage for the most part. I'm thinking on that one, but my plan here to solidify the Chargers' victory was I am going to overnight a Josh Gordon jersey to Drake and try to get it there before he works out this weekend. So, he can post it on IG with the Patriots jersey, maybe send some bad juju your all's way. I don't know if you saw the meme or not, but there was a meme of like 6 different teams. It wasn't all teams. One was Conor McGregor. But it was everyone.
They've all lost when Drake supports them for a championship. Yeah.
Every single one of them that Drake has rooted for, and you know how he flips around too. So I'm going to send Drake a Josh Gordon jersey, see if we can put some bad juju on you all.
Well, that's cool because I just reported any packages coming from Lexington to Drake were bombs. So, package denied.
It's going to be a good one, man. I'm excited to see Hunter Henry back. They're saying that he's actually going to get some snaps this game. He came off of an ACL injury, I think, less than 9 months ago, which is crazy for him to even be running and making cuts right now. But I guess reports are saying he's good to go. A lot of people forgot about him because Gates, had a couple clutch catches in that last game. But Hunter Henry's going to be back. And if y'all don't remember, he was one of the top up-and-coming tight ends in the league. I mean, he was George Kittle before George Kittle came to the league. That's how people were talking about him. So if he can even make a couple third down catches, anything, it'll help out the Chargers a lot this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone's been George Kittle, so I don't know if that's a little bit of a reach after this year.
Dude, I was not expecting the kind of production he got, but
he broke the yards mark, but I know Ertz broke the reception mark. So we actually had a big year from the at least the top tier tight ends. I know the middle of the pack was atrocious. They basically were all low pack.
Sure.
But I mean, it was a funny year from tight ends, especially seeing Gronk. He basically gave up his throne completely this year as best tight end in the league, no doubt.
Travis Kelce actually broke the receiving record for tight end early in that day Sunday.
And then
Week 17.
Ertz topped him, yeah.
Well, Ertz caught the receptions and then topped the receptions, and then George Kittle turns around that night and takes over for the yardage, which it just shows you like how the scheme's changing, and how these tight ends are turning into their pass catchers. They're receiving tight ends, and if they can block, that's a bonus. But I'm excited to get him back. And another guy, I don't know if you read anything about this story, but Brandon Mabin, and I could be pronouncing that with a little bit of a country drawl, but it's Brandon Mabin. He's our number one defensive tackle for the Chargers. He is coming back.
I'm not looking forward to that.
He's been out since November. He actually had a newborn. He had a newborn child that was sick and ended up passing away on Tuesday.
Oh no!
So prayers to him.
Jeez.
And that's unfortunate, but he's going to be back.
Chalk up some inspiration. Fuck.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you needed any, that's they're going to be playing and riled up for him, on defense. So
that's a fire I'll never understand, brother. Or hope to never understand.
They played fairly good against the Ravens. We all know how much they run the ball without him, but he's going to be back this Sunday. What about the Patriots side of the ball? I mean, they're obviously, with the Julian Edelman little short dig outs and screens, they're always going to move the ball up and down the field. What is like your number one matchup on offense versus defense that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking more to the trenches because I really think that's going to be key to whether Brady has a good game or not. So I'm literally looking at Melvin Ingram versus Trent Brown and Bosa versus Marcus Cannon. Trent has had a couple iffy games with holdings and getting beat. That Steelers game was rough for the Patriots offensive line. Yeah, with the guard play, that's been really good this year. I actually am I'm looking forward because the Chargers like to move Bosa and Ingram into the inside to try to get one-on-one matchups, and they took advantage of that. You saw in a couple of those pass plays against the Ravens. I do not think those are going to be as available in this game. They've been doing pretty well this year. I'm wondering what type of defense the Chargers are going to run now against us. They're obviously not going to come out 7 DBs. And the running game with the Ravens is much different than the way Brady likes to run the ball. Brady's more of a selective runner. Obviously, Brady's not running it. But when Brady chooses for the offense to be running the ball or have a more running focus, even when they run complementing their pass game, it's not the same as other teams running the ball. So it's more he's going to put his James White and Sony Michel in the right positions. And I think they'll be actually more successful than the Ravens were running the ball, just because I don't think the Chargers' whole week of game plan is how do we stop the Patriots' running game. It's really how do we beat Tom Brady mentally at the line. They have to do a good job deceiving what they're doing. But for what Lamar did to throwing to them in the second half, I am very excited for Brady to break down that second half footage just to see what if Lamar Jackson can throw that many yards on that defense, we could probably agree Tom Brady can throw the ball a little better. Now, you obviously the scheme's different. Lamar's a different quarterback. How they were playing him could be different than the way they'll play Brady. Obviously, that's another matchup on that side of the ball. I'm looking forward to see the way the Chargers play them. Their defense is exciting. They played really, really well against the Ravens, but it's going to be a totally different game plan this game. I really would like to see the Patriots establish the run, control the clock, and take a lead, and just control the game where you don't get Ingram and Bosa flying off the edge. You get Derwin and all them locking in, manning up, because they have a good pass coverage. They're built for pass coverage. So Edelman's going to have to make some tough catches. He's had some drops this year, but it's playoff time. I expect the boys to play better, and it's in New England, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Gronk has had a few weeks to recover. He didn't really play that last week of the season, so you're giving him a solid 2, almost 3 weeks of recovery time to get healthy for this run of 3 games if they make it to the Super Bowl. And I'm honestly, I hope that looking at film, and I don't think this will happen, but I hope that the Chargers are really taking into consideration that Gronk is probably going to be healthy for this game, and he's probably going to be a big part of it. They don't have Josh Gordon anymore. Sony Michel's been getting bottled up. I know, because I owned him in fantasy and I couldn't use him the last few weeks of the season. James White is another key presence. So it's going to come down to, okay, we're going to bring Derwin James into the box, because Derwin James is one of the most hybrid safety, the best hybrid linebacker safeties.
He is the hybrid safety. That's
on
what
defense.
he is.
Yeah, exactly. So you bring him into the box. He has to pick, though. Is he going to watch out for James White out of the backfield, or is he going to try and cover Gronk? Because I know he can cover Gronk to an extent. It's just a matter of where they're going to play him, if they mix it up correctly, all that good stuff. That's what I'm keeping an eye out on. And it's easy to say Derwin James is the X factor, I know, but I'm excited to see how they are going to use him, if it's going to be correct or not. Because we know he can get sacks, we know he can cover the running backs, we know he can cover most tight ends. Gronk's a specimen, but that's going to be my big matchup to watch. Derwin James versus Sony Michel, James White combo, and then when he's going to guard Gronk.
Yeah, but I believe Chargers got 2 All-Pro safeties this year. I think their other safety went All-Pro as well.
Yeah, Desmond King ended up being an All-Pro.
He was playing great that game. He almost played just as good, if not better, the last game. I love that return he had. I mean, that boy is ready to play against the Ravens.
That's part of my notes. Actually, is the special teams. The Patriots, great compliment to them. They kick ass on special teams, and not a lot of people, pay attention to special teams, but they know how to take guys out of the game, whether it be kicking it, too high for them to return it, to take off a couple yards, or not even kicking it to them, in general. I'm interested to see if they actually even kick it to Desmond King, because he's been one of the better returners over the course of the whole season, not just, that last game where you said he had a couple good returns and put Phil into to good positions.
You gotta love having that. Cuts the field in half. I saw that early. It kind of solidified their victory. They were able to get some early cheap points from turnovers in those returns, and it really he had a huge part with that win, not only on defense but with his special teams just cutting the field in half. So that was a big effect. What effect he'll have in this game? Like you said, the Patriots are very tactical in the way they do everything, and special teams is just a microcosm of that, where they, you saw that one play where they had like 2 players jump in the end zone to pass to another player, and it looked like just synchronicity in one. It was just like that's the Patriots way. That's football at its best, which is awesome. I'm really excited to see what they do kicking to him. If they just kick it straight out of bounds, if they go end over end, I am excited to see how they go about that.
It's going to be a big key point of the game. I really do think that. I think that's going to decide, especially in the fourth quarter. Field position, this is going to be more of a chippy game. It's not going to be an offensive explosion like we saw, when the Patriots are playing the Chiefs or somebody of that nature. But that's going to be a big point of the game. Another one I was kind of looking at was that Keenan Allen Stephon Gilmore matchup.
Yes,
Man,
that's the number one on my list circled up. It's
that
all
is
pro
going to
versus
be
all
fun.
pro or all pro. I think Gilmore's all pro, and I think Keenan Allen's a pro bowler.
Yep, and like you were saying before, Keenan Allen, he just finds the soft spots in the zone. But the Patriots are crazy enough to just say, "All right, we'll run zone man combo," and Stephon Gilmore, you just chase Keenan Allen all
They're
over.
not crazy enough. That's what they've always done. If you look at the Patriots, they like taking out your first guy. So when they had Aqib Talib, when they had Revis Island, all those guys, Keenan Allen's not the best receiver they've ever played and locked up one-on-one, so they're not going to look at Keenan Allen and think anything different. They're going to put Gilmore on him one-on-one, probably have some help over top determining play coverage and formation, but Stephon Gilmore has played amazing. He's been more than the money he's been offered, basically the one all-pro bright spot on our team other than Brady.
Can you all just call up Malcolm Butler just for this game so that Mike Williams or Tyrell Williams or Travis Benjamin can just, blow past him a couple times? Like we just need a couple touchdowns just to soften the blow a little bit.
He's still a little buttery. We didn't play him in that Super Bowl whatever where our defense allowed 1 billion points by the greatest quarterback ever, Big Dick Nick.
But Butler, dude, he's been getting torched all season. He was getting torched all season long. He made some good plays because he's so aggressive. The reason that they won the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, he was aggressive, cut off the slant route. But whenever you play that aggressive, there's going to be times where you just straight up get toasted, and it has happened to him more so than none this year. So it kind of makes Belichick look smart again. Like, yeah, we could have even thrown him in, but probably still would have got torched kind of thing.
His career has kind of set that matter. He just, he got that play, and he just went balls to the wall on that play, and it happened. And then he just carried that energy into that next season where he was almost deemed the new number one corner, but it slowly, by the end of the season, he wasn't that guy. He wasn't this man guy we all thought he could, maybe be because we were living in the moment, which was a big moment. Don't want to deny it. He's definitely a professional, but definitely another dodged bullet of not paying some dude an extraneous amount of money.
Yeah, they brought in Gilmore, paid him instead, stole him from the Bills, and it ends up working out for Belichick as always.
He's a much better man corner. Like when it comes to corners, I think Butler's more of a zone, sit in a zone, jump the route type corner. He's not like a lock up man-to-man, play with no one behind him. He doesn't have the hips for it. So I don't think in the NFL you should really pay top dollar for a Josh Norman type corner. It's like Josh Norman, right? He's an aggressive zone corner. He's not going to lock anyone up. So when he gets in those arguments with receivers, it's like, well, you just sit in a zone. You don't really lock someone up. You're not Aqib Talib. You're not these dudes who are just going to, you're not Richard Sherman, who you go to his side and he's locking you up. Maybe, or the Richard Sherman of old, if you want to say. But that's what Gilmore does. I'm really excited after watching what Keenan Allen did against a really good secondary. I'm excited to see if the secondary isn't as good in Baltimore or Stephon Gilmore is the real deal. So I'm excited to see that matchup. And I'm obviously it's easy to piggyback this matchup, but Brady versus Rivers, man. Rivers is 0-7 against Brady, 0-2 in the playoffs. One of his playoffs matchups was not his fault. Troy Brown ripped an interception. Brady just threw an interception, and Troy Brown ripped it and just saved the game miraculously.
On fourth down.
On fourth down. It's the craziest play. He should have just dropped the pick. Just dropped the pick.
Yeah.
So I remember that. So he should probably be 6-1. But obviously the Patriots historically are known for sneaking out of games and winning games like that. And Rivers is known for his quality and his he's a Hall of Famer. He's not known for those exact same things. So I'm excited just to see that matchup. I'm excited to see Brady extended to 8-0.
Yeah, you said it. This could be Rivers' run to solidify himself into the Hall of Fame.
The old River run.
The old River run, Bulls. But no, he's got the stats to back it up. He's outplayed someone in his class like Eli Manning statistically. Eli just got those 2 championships, right? And that's if Rivers was not to get into the Hall of Fame, that's what is going to be holding him back, which I don't agree with. But this is his chance to not even put that into discussion, not even give people the chance to not put him into the Hall of Fame. Go out there. If you beat the Patriots in Foxborough, I mean, man, I mean, how much bigger of a game could you even ask for at that point? Because you get that momentum, and then you're probably heading to the Super Bowl, and you got a real chance to go get a ring. But yeah, I mean, the Rivers versus Brady matchup, Brady still got it, Rivers still got it. They're both a little old. I think this is the oldest playoff matchup when you combine the two quarterbacks' ages ever. If I'm not mistaken, it's either number one or number two.
Well, every week Brady has an opportunity to set that record playing anyone with his age added up with another. But I think
sure, but it's 42-37 or something like that when you add it up, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think Brady's 41, Rivers is 37, so it's 478. If I do my simple calculations right.
I was never that good in social studies, man.
Yeah, I always did really well in language arts, but so yeah, with that aspect, I guess too, if Rivers does beat Brady, he's gonna go into New England, beat Brady, then he's gonna either go into Kansas City, into Arrowhead, beat Mahomes, or beat Andrew Luck, and then if he goes into the NFC playoffs, he's either gonna beat probably Drew Brees, Saint Nick, which, if he beats him, you're automatically the GOAT. If you beat Nick Foles in the playoffs, you are the greatest of all time. So, I mean, think about it. He's going to be beating 3, maybe at least 2 top tiers, the greatest clutch NFL player ever to live or think to live, and Nick Foles. I mean, that's a run right there. That's a river run.
Big Dick Nick versus Fertile Phil.
Fertile Phil, the man who never pulls. I will never retreat. I will keep firing. 2-point conversion. We ain't pulling out of this one. We're here for the win.
I had to go find me a woman who I knew could have me 10 children. That's a woman for you right there.
Oh, Jesus, Phillip Rivers, man, that is awesome. He's the man. He's got to. If you're like a real insider, I feel like maybe you're not like a. If you know Phillip Rivers, you gotta appreciate him. Everything he does, he always leaves it on the field. He's had a bunch of regular season games where he just pulls some magic out. Where obviously Brady has a lot of the playoff magic. He has both. Brady's been doing it in both. Phillip Rivers is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He just hasn't been able to get whatever the case is with whether it's the team or unluckiness or maybe he had an off year or whatever. He was having too many kids. I don't know. But
well, yeah, Brady's had Belichick too his whole career, which is
big help. I mean, yeah, you can't. So my whole thing with when you argue stuff like that, it's like, yes, you could argue it for like a benefit. Like you could argue like Phillip Rivers hasn't had this, so this is the reason, like maybe a reason, but you can't say because Brady has that he's not the GOAT, because some people will say that like, oh, because of this and that, which is ridiculous. Because I mean, you could say the same thing for like Michael Jordan. Like people like Michael Jordan's a GOAT. Well, I'm like, yeah, but he could only win with Phil Jackson, right? So greatness is always unlocked with people. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar isn't the GOAT without John Wooden, and then playing for X, Y, or Z going into the league. Obviously jumping sports here, but that's my whole thing with, I think Rivers, I think anyone would do better with Belichick. I think that's been proven.
Hell yeah. Yeah, not taking anything away from Brady at all. Yeah. But, it just goes back to the simple fact, like you were saying, like whenever the dumbass corner picked the ball off on 4th down when he shouldn't have been. If somebody did that and you were on Belichick's team, he'd probably cut your ass the next day. Like
you would know to just walk out the stadium, not get on the team bus, and just rightfully just kill yourself. But
yeah, you'd be paying your contract back somehow. It's in the clause. Like if you screw up that bad, you have to get back the money. No, but that's just Belichick is probably the greatest NFL coach of all time.
Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time, unless you really consider some of the things that coaches did pre-NFL era. high, but I wouldn't. I think the modern era of sports, it's the most scrutinized, more money's put in, the athletes are crazy. I mean, we're talking from defensive ends to running backs. These dudes are running under 4.7. It's just the proof's in the pudding. Like, yes, obviously you respect homage to the older players, but I'm sorry, Jim Brown's not the greatest running back of all time. Watch Jim Brown footage. My high school tape looked scarier than that. Like, I'm just sorry. I'm not going to put some people in who don't deserve to be the greatest of all time. Bill Belichick, in the most scrutinized era where coaches, I mean, we live near Tampa Bay Bucks here, and they have a new coach every 3 months. They're like, oh, this doesn't work. Oh, this doesn't work. To have that type of greatness through the era where because we were talking about it the other day. John Elway, in the beginning of his career, had a lot of like negativity, I guess. Like, do you think John Elway in the modern era could have survived that to get to his 2 Super Bowls? I don't know. That'd be tough.
No, I mean, he was like Philip Rivers. Like, I mean, if you want to compare him to somebody, it was
Philip Rivers has taken an Elway type trajectory.
Yeah, he had the stats, he had the leadership qualities, the fiery, passion that everybody liked him, but until he did that or went for that 98 or 99-yard drive in the Super Bowl, that they didn't really consider him a Hall of Famer at that point.
Yeah, I think I was just more of like people like to build that narrative back in the day. I think he would have been a Hall of Famer whether he won a Super Bowl or not, because I just think he's in that class of quarterbacks. But I understand that aspect of it, and I think Philip Rivers is the same way. Football is a sport that if you play it or you've ever played at a high competitive level, there's an opportunity that you're going to have some really, really high talent on the field and your team sucks, because it is a sport that directly connects you to like 21 other people on the field most times. On either side of the ball, you have to rely on so many more people. It's not like basketball where one person is the direct, almost one or two people can be the direct correlation to your championship.
Sure. No, I agree. And, he can't make up for bad coaching decisions. And he can't make up for this and that. And when it goes back to it.
But you still get judged on what you did, which is the shitty part about football, I guess.
Exactly. And when you go back to it, again, this is his time to – he's got the team. When you look at this team, these two teams on paper, the Chargers and the Patriots, you could even argue that Chargers have more talent, right? So he's got the team.
They have more talent, guys. Just let you know.
Yeah. So he's got the team to do it.
No argument.
There's no excuses at this point.
They have more
just
talent.
Go get it done kind of thing. Exactly. So they're more, more up and coming. It just goes back to Belichick, and Kraft not really wanting to spend a lot of money in certain areas, and it's worked out for him so far. So you can't hate on him.
Yeah, this game's cool because obviously you have legacy on the line, right? Really, Brady can lose this game, barring like a horrible performance where he throws 5 picks and breaks his leg. He's probably unaffected whether he wins or loses. Really, if he wins, it's another game, right? It really doesn't. It's just another game in the tutelage of Tom Brady, another divisional round game. And
we're just going to say, everybody counted out the Patriots, but look, they're back in the AFC Championship.
Hey, don't be surprised if we're having a Super Bowl thing with the Patriots in it. Like, just don't, because I've seen them go. They weren't supposed to go last year, really.
Last year.
They weren't that good last year. I mean, they made it happen. They were a good team, obviously. Tom Brady was an MVP last year. You can't tell me that they weren't counted out, those early 2000s teams. They struggle cuddled all the way to the NFC the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I remember 3 years ago, I believe it was, and last year they got blown out by the Chiefs early in the season. Both of those years,
the Seahawks.
One in the early on in the season, everybody was like, "Oh, this is the cliff. Tom Brady's he's 40 years old. He's finally going downhill." Blah 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 blah. They come out and they actually won the Super Bowl against Atlanta that year that they got blown out by the Chiefs. And then
that was his 39-year-old year. They were freaking out. They're like, "It's the end. It's the end." And then he got that MVP.
And they're saying Gronk's, that's what I was saying. They say, Gronk's getting old too. He's probably going to retire with Brady, blah, blah, blah. He's, dealing with injuries. Well, he's had 2 weeks to sit there and nurse any type of injury he has. He's probably not going to be as sore, as he was toward the end of the year. This season, he's going to come out and he's going to be ready to play for 3 games because he knows that they're not going to get this many opportunities left if he is going to retire with Brady. So, I'm worried about Gronk coming out and being a freaking monster.
Especially because he hasn't been like that. So are the Chargers going to sleep on him and be like, yo, maybe Gronk isn't that guy? But I think the thing that's scary about Gronkowski and Brady, I mean, I'll take Brady on one more drive. You give me one more drive with Brady, I'm with him. I'm gonna go, and I'm excited for that. I think Brady could win a game. Now it's just up to the Patriots defense to hold it together in this playoff run. But I'll still take Tom Brady over most of the quarterbacks in the playoffs right now with one drive. If you gave me the best offense of the playoff and a quarterback with one drive, I would be like Chiefs and Brady, and you get me a Super Bowl, right? So my whole thing on this in this game is if we can just get the opportunity. Like, you think Gronkowski's dropping a touchdown pass at like the 9-yard line with Derwin James even wrapping him up? I think he can still catch that ball. I think between the 20s, it'll be a little tougher for Gronk, especially if Derwin completely covers him, because I think he's good enough. I would much rather almost have Derwin covering Gronk and just letting James White get us first downs. I'm not against that either. With that aspect too is what I've been watching the Chargers-Ravens game is Melvin Gordon does not look healthy. And that makes me very excited. Like when he's trying to do those like jump cuts outside where he like hits the lineman and pushes off their back, he can't accelerate out. He gets tackled before he could accelerate away from a defender.
The play where he fumbled it, man, he that's not a Melvin Gordon play. Like
No,
Melvin Gordon is a touchdown hawk. He it doesn't matter if there's 6 people in front of him, he's scoring. Like that's what he does. And he couldn't do it. He almost fumbled the play and cost the Chargers the game because of it, because he bumped into his lineman and fell. Like he's not healthy at all.
Which I'm totally fine. Melvin Gordon is not the scariest running back we faced, and if he's not healthy, healthy he would be very scary. But since he's not healthy, I think that part of his game. And Eckler doesn't scare me. He's a fantasy guy in my opinion at the moment. Like he's not a bad player. He's just a filler. So I'm down with the filler. If the filler's going to play, I'm okay with him. You know what I mean? I don't see him as the guy who's going to beat us. Great fantasy, like get you those extra yards, but I don't know if he's like actually crucial to he seems to me to not be like I'd much rather have him than a healthy Melvin Gordon. 100%.
For sure. No, I agree completely. Austin Eckler's only job should be to convert third downs.
100%.
Him, Gates.
And block.
Him and Antonio Gates, they come in to convert third downs. That's about it. That's what I was saying. If Hunter Henry is actually healthy, that's going to be a big pickup, because that is Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen, and then you have the combo of Mike Williams, Tyrell Williams, and Travis Benjamin. Just, one of those three have to be able to get open whenever they're on the field, because Keenan Allen's going to have Gilmore, Hunter Henry's still a little beat up, and Gates can't get separation. He's older than dirt at this point. He still makes badass catches. He made a badass catch against the Ravens, but that's going to be the question is, we know the Patriots are going to take someone out of the game. They don't have to worry about Melvin as much. Keenan Allen's probably going to be that guy, right? So it's going to be big if Hunter Henry is actually healthy and can step up.
Yeah, Hunter Henry will be big this week. We don't have the after Gilmore, obviously. Chung will do an okay job on him, but he won't be able to cover him all the time. I like Keenan Allen. I think they're gonna put Gilmore on him basically alone, and if it's too much, then they'll really take him out. But what they'll do is they'll just put Gilmore on him on an island, and if we could just have him on an island, then we could do all the other stuff and figure out where they're gonna put Henry and all the other people. But the game's really, if Keenan Allen can really dominate Stephen Gilmore, our defense is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. That's a huge matchup.
Because if you have to man cover him or then two shade him, or you have basically a half of the field is covering him or having eyes on him, just less eyes for Hunter Henry and Antonio Gates and Mike Williams and Melvin and Eckler and all them. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to seeing.
And Mike Williams came out of the freaking wide receiver factory in Clemson, where they just have badass wide receivers.
Wide receivers and defensive ends come play for us.
Not just one either, man. They have like 2 or 3 on their team at all friggin' times. Like it's insane. Like it's not even.
And they're like old guys, like seniors and juniors.
Exactly. You get Hunter Renfrow out there with 2 badass freshman wide receivers. Like that's almost impossible for even Alabama to defend. But yeah,
Roll
that's
Tide. Did the Tide stop rolling now? Is it over?
Oh shit, dude! You're gonna see Nick Saban come out this next season and freaking mutilate teams. I feel sorry for whoever's on their freaking schedule because
Well,
he's not going to.
Looking how the SEC played in the bowl games, I'm not really too worried about his schedule to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. But no, they're going to dominate teams early in the year. I can already tell. I feel bad for those guys running two-a-days all summer.
Ugh.
Yeah, and I noticed that you posted the Belichick Saban meme where in like the last 10 years, neither one of them have won in the same year, and we already know who's out of, and that's winning the national championship with Saban, Belichick winning the Super Bowl, and we already know that Nick Saban's out, but it's happened more times than none, right, in the last 10 years?
Yeah, so basically every year that Saban doesn't win, Belichick wins, and every year Belichick doesn't win, Saban wins. It's like the last, I forget the exact amount of years, but it's kind of funny, and obviously Saban got knocked. Maybe Saban and Belichick went to the devil and sold their souls, and were like, you can have 3 or 4 generations of our children's souls. Just let us win the next 10 championships alternating.
And everyone wonders why like all the non-Patriots and non-Bama fans hate the Patriots and Bama. We're so sick and tired of seeing you all win championships. It's like getting beyond old.
For me, this is how my viewpoint on it. With the Bama fans, they're a joke because Alabama before Nick Saban was like irrelevant and no one heard from them.
Yep.
Irrelevant. So most of these Patriots fans, it's either you are from New England and your family kind of bred you that way, and my family went to season tickets after season tickets of horrible Patriots. Horrible Patriots for 20, 30 years. So a lot of those Patriots fans and why they're ignorant is because they're New England people who finally have something to be proud of, fighting through the Red Sox curse, the Patriots being horrible. After Larry Bird, the Celtics had the Len Bias thing where he overdosed on cocaine and they sucked for like 2 decades. The Bruins didn't win a title for like 20 years, but obviously in the modern era, or ever since 2001, New England and Boston won't stop winning titles. So for me, with the Patriots, it's really just they went through the struggles of 20 years of sucking. Where Alabama, it's like now all of a sudden they're the greatest college team of all time again because they obviously had Bear Bryant days where they stacked titles and Nick Saban. So now all of a sudden you have all these kids who are Alabama fans that, from where we're from, there are a lot of people who are from up north. There are a lot of people that moved down from the Northeast to Florida. So you have a lot of these New York fans and Pittsburgh fans and Patriots fans and Red Sox fans and et cetera, et cetera. But when you start seeing all these Alabama fans, you're like, geez, man, like it's just it's a little different, I guess, from my point of view. I can't understand why anyone would want to cheer for the state of Alabama.
Yeah, people saying roll tide, especially when I get it. Okay, if you live in Alabama, you're more than likely an Alabama or an Auburn fan. But if you're outside of Alabama and you tell me you're an Alabama fan, I kind of smirk and laugh and say, okay, I'm probably not going to take you serious in any sports talk from this point forward. But that's cool. You're a Bama fan, so you're happy all the time. It doesn't matter what my opinion is.
Yeah, it's like a specialty situation, I feel like, for these outside Bama fans where it may be okay. Maybe you're from an area, if you're from a state without a professional team, maybe you're in the South, I guess, if you're in the Confederate lines, like maybe, you just support your Confederate brothers. The Confederate will rise again, brother. But I don't know with that aspect, but Alabama is definitely good, I think, for the sport when they're good. College football is bigger now than it was when Alabama wasn't as big. They're like the Green Bay Packers. They have that lore. That's why Notre Dame needs to be good and Michigan needs to be good. You need those classical college teams to be good. Maybe not to the point where they're winning titles every second, and when they lose, they're literally second. Maybe that would be like maybe a little more competitive fire from the rest of the country, especially the Pac-12, man. The Pac-12 is absolutely dead.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, so we got Chargers Patriots this weekend coming up. We both know, should know by now that I'm the Chargers fan. You're the Patriots fan.
If you didn't,
we got a lot on the line. If you didn't, we just had a special edition episode, and it wasn't for no reason. I'm obviously rooting for the underdog in this one, but
quotations underdog according to Las Vegas.
Exactly, and I'm going to go ahead and say that this line is going to change, meaning that there's people going to be betting on the Chargers going into this game a little bit more so, just because, like you said, on paper, they're the better team. They got the younger talent, the more Pro Bowlers, whatever you want to say. But it's Brady, it's Belichick, it's a fairly healthy Gronk, and I'm still completely worried about this matchup. No one likes going into Foxborough during playoff time, and that's just the honest facts.
Yeah, I mean, look at Patriots home records in December in the playoffs, and then look at the Patriots record after a bye or when they have a bye in the playoffs. When Tom Brady gets 2 weeks to prepare, and he had a couple teams he knew he'd probably have to face off, and then obviously when the Chargers did succumb to the victory, then he only had a week to watch them. That aspect of it, that's where I think they get the line right now, and where they're getting favored, and what covers the skill level is obviously the Patriot way. Belichick, Brady's just attention to detail. He'll know everything what's going on, so that will even up the game and cover up maybe athletic deficiencies we have, which will make it a close game. And like I said, the reason I think the Patriots are going to win, obviously I'm biased. I love the Patriots. I'm not going to pick them to lose because I don't like that type of energy. But I really do believe you give Tom Brady an opportunity to win a football game. The way the quarterbacks are protected, and I still like him. Give him an opportunity, man. Yes, at times this year he's definitely looked very old. If he doesn't throw off his platform, it's going in the dirt sometimes. But Phillip Rivers looks kind of similar in a way. Definitely got a little more juice on the throws, and still, he's a tad younger. But there were times I saw a couple throws that, it was just like, oh, he's getting old. He's getting up there. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Both quarterbacks are definitely on their last leg, and I know we were joking. I said Rivers is going to send Brady into early retirement. He's going to, sipping drinks on the beach, kissing his son here soon. But and you fired back that Rivers was going to be the one going into early retirement, and both are kind of a possibility at this point. I don't think Rivers is quite done. I don't think Brady's quite done, especially if Brady goes on a run. But you could tell that New England, not their locker room in general, but just some of the players, the older players, they're probably getting a little frustrated. It's getting a little old. They constantly have the media in their face at all times, talking about this cliff and when they're going to fall off and who's retiring and blah, 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 blah. But as a Patriots fan, that's what you want, because it's going to motivate these guys to play hard, and it's going to be a go. And I hope it comes down to the wire. I hope that we get to see that, Rivers or
I want to see a cool Rivers Brady throwback fourth quarter, exactly. Just some rock throwing, man.
4 or 5 minutes left, and they just have to go down and score for their team, because thank God. And I hope I don't jinx this, man. It looks like we have a decent kicker. I know as soon as I say that, he's going to miss a game-winning freaking field goal this weekend. But
Gostowski's been pissing me off this year, missing extra points and shit.
But no, it's I'm excited, man. I have cleared my schedule for Sunday. I will not miss a second of this game. I can guarantee that.
Me too, brother. Every game could be Brady's last playoff game, and I still think he's got a little juice in the tank. I still think he can win you a drive. He's still got it in him, and that's just I want to see number 6. Number 6 will just put him in a stratosphere. He'll start becoming Jerry Rice with trophies.
Wouldn't 6 be like that's what the Steelers have total for their entire franchise?
He'd be 6 out of 9 too, so he would have won 6 out of 9. So he'd gone to 9 Super Bowls and basically he'd gone to a decade of Super Bowls. I don't know. Some people are different some people view Super Bowl losses as bad or championship losses as bad, which I think is preposterous. You lose at some point in the season. I'd much rather lose at the end than before even getting in the playoffs. Like,
what you're referring to is like people talking shit about LeBron and, him getting losses in the finals. But in the NFL, man, to get to the Super Bowl, that's an accomplishment. You
different sports. Yeah. No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously some of it comes from that, but I like the NBA playoffs. That's different.
Sure.
The Super Bowl is the Super Bowl, and a lot of great quarterbacks never won one. I think Marino lost the 2 he went to, or the 1 he went to. So, and if Marino won 2, I think he'd be the greatest of all time. Like that would, just to how prolific of a thrower he was.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's an accomplishment to make it to the Super Bowl in the NFL. It is tough. You can't say, oh, the AFC, had a bad year, because it's just not true. I mean, there are NFL teams, and go look at the schedule for the entire season, week to week. There were upsets all year long. Oakland beat the Steelers. There were a bunch of upsets all season long. And the Bills blew out the Vikings early in the season. There was a bunch of stuff. It's football, man. Anything can happen. A couple bad plays early in the game can set the whole entire game up for a bad night. But him making it to that many Super Bowls, winning 5 Super Bowls already. He's the greatest of all time. If you don't agree with it, then find some good facts and bring it, because we're gonna argue that up and down. And that's coming from a Peyton Manning fan, loyal Tennessee Volunteer fan.
He's just in a stratosphere of his own right now when it comes to just the completeness of his career. I mean, he could retire right now. He's good. So I'm excited for this game. I know
you should retire and let us go ahead and get by and go get a Super Bowl. Let the Chargers win. You already got enough, Brady.
No, absolutely not. We want more. 6. The road to 6 starts today, Sunday, 1:00, guys. Huge game. Really excited. We're both going to be watching it, talking shit all the way up to the first whistle. We're probably going to throw a little friendly 50 on this. I don't know how you feel about that, Wayne.
Yeah, I'm down.
You heard it here first, guys. This is our first podcast-to-podcast bet. Obviously, it's a little biased. It's not like we took any intelligence of it. We're just home team homers, hoping for some dubs. And in return, we'll get some dubs. A couple fresh little dubs.
I need more reason to yell at my TV like an idiot this Sunday. So,
I'm trying to rebuild that Venmo right back up. But yeah, man, love doing the Patriots Chargers special, man. Had a blast doing it. Maybe we could do more versus specials more often. I know some of the people were excited to hear our point of views and just to hear some more good football talk, man. Yeah, guys, we appreciate having Wayne on again. He's obviously one of our favorite, if not our favorite guests on the show. I'm going to actually be on his show coming up pretty soon. I'll let you guys know. Highly Offensive, Cross with King Sportscast. I know usually you're coming on here, so I'm excited about that.
For sure, man, for sure. Awesome show. I love talking about the Chargers, of course, and football in general. I am excited for this weekend of playoff matchups. It's going to be a good one.
Hell yeah, guys. If you're not subscribed yet, remember iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and now YouTube. We're on YouTube now. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Make sure you show us some love and support. Follow the Highly Offensive podcast on the same social medias. He's on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. Make sure you subscribe. They're a Kentucky podcast right now with the Big Blue Nation, but they cover a bunch of other sports, and there's definitely more content to come out from them while they're taking the fantasy break. Thanks again, Wayne, for having on. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more eps coming out soon. Peace.
Yeah. Where? Okay. Yeah. I be laying low, rolling up a zone. Cody in my cup, I'm talking slow. Yeah. I be laying low, rolling up a zone. Cody in my cup, I'm talking slow. I love that Mary J, can't let her go. Who that white boy, let him know. I'm that young and get it poppin' on the flow. Yeah. I'm that young and get it poppin' on the flow. Yeah. I'm that young and get it poppin' on the floor. Bucket with the long hair, yeah, that young foe. Looking like you seen a ghost, tryna cipher these flows. Motherfucker, what you know? Motherfucker, what you know? 40 with that 40, that's a story never told. Blank face, you can tell my heart cold. This that kick down the back door music. Heavily influenced, grew up with the looters, 4-figure shooters. Every day, mama pray she don't.